The 9/11 memorial. This is my first Rocco Bianco show on the Real.video. Hey guys, what do you guys think about the memorial?
Pretty good.
Pretty good? Did you know what it looks like? It looks like the two trade towers with the Pentagon in the middle.
Yeah.
Do you guys know about the occult symbolism behind the Trade Center? About
No.
Freemasonry and the two pillars?
No.
Never heard of that?
No.
No? The Pentagon, I mean, do you know about the Venus? It actually goes in the orbit of the sun in the shape of a pentagram. And they call Venus Lucifer behind the scenes, these Freemasons that worship Baphomet. Do you guys know about that?
Do you think that your shirt's a little bit offensive, given what today is, though?
Oh, well, I think that we have the right to actually display what we think. It's a free country, right? Like, you're not going to censor me like Alex Jones, right? Hopefully not. They want to just censor people. They want, oh, my shirt's so offensive. 9/11 was an inside job. It's so obvious. It's an inside and an outside job. I mean, Mossad, the ISI, all the evidence of the actual physical evidence on ground zero, nanothermite, okay, had to have been involved because of the fact that steel turned into iron. And then you have these iron nanospheres falling off the building, trickling down, and the surface tension of the molten liquid actually turned those iron nanospheres into spheres because of the surface tension. As they fell, they cooled, then they dropped down. And in every dust sample that you get, you see that there is iron nanospheres. So look up iron nanospheres at ground zero. Look up, there's so many websites. I mean, InfoWars is one of my favorites just because Alex Jones is so outspoken and he's hilarious to watch. And that's why they can't stand him, because he actually gets to people. He actually reaches out, and in a way that kind of scares you out of your little slumber, like the Matrix movie. Like you're sitting there in your little pod and he screams you out of it. And it's like he flushes that little Matrix toilet and you fall down into the real sewer of reality. I mean, that's basically what it feels like to find out about the truth about 9/11. Watch the documentary Loose Change that was produced by Alex Jones. Alex Jones predicted 9/11 before it happened. Okay? I mean, he said bin Laden would be involved in a terror attack around that time. He mentioned, I think, the actual date. I'll have to go back and look at that. He predicted that they would run planes into buildings and stuff like that. Look out for the trade tower, because they had the X-Files episode, the pilot, actually, of a spin-off from X-Files called The Lone Gunman. So look up the Lone Gunman pilot episode where they run planes into buildings in that X-Files spin-off, and that was before 9/11. So they predicted 9/11 in this X-Files spin-off, right? Called The Lone Gunman. I mean, this stuff, there's so many points, guys. Okay, so let's look at what this actually is. Each one of the 2,977 flags honors an American life that was lost on September 11th, 2001. The flags are displayed to represent where the attacks took place. The World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the open field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Oh, because the coroner said that there wasn't even a drop of blood in Shanksville. They just had a new memorial set up there where it's basically a giant wind chime in the middle of the field. You're supposed to go up and ring it and think about all the media lies that you were told. We shall never forget our heroes, the families and the friends. Yeah, all my friends, all the people that I've actually met 9/11 victims' family members, and they said that they think 9/11 was staged. I got family in New York. Okay, so their sacrifice is unprecedented in our nation's history, and hopefully will never be repeated. I think instead of saying that, we should say we need real justice for what happened. Not just for our constitutional rights being taken away, but the fact that we still really don't know who did it. They had the 28 pages come out that actually implicated Saudi Arabia. You know, the missing 28 pages. Those finally came out, and supposedly, so Saudi Arabia is basically run by the bin Laden family. They are one of the biggest shahs basically in Saudi Arabia. Their whole family. Mohammed bin Laden is Osama bin Laden's father, and he actually dug all the oil wells out in Saudi Arabia. They have huge connections with the Bush family. It's called the Carlyle Group. The Carlyle Group was actually a Bush bin Laden oil company that was run by the Bushes and the bin Laden. So on top of that, so there's all this nepotism, right, with the actual event. There's all this cronyism as well, but nepotism especially because you got Marvin Bush was head of Securicom, which was the actual security for the World Trade Tower complex, and it was security for the actual American Airlines. So the planes that hit the buildings and the buildings themselves were both under security by Marvin Bush. So there's your nepotism. Okay, that's family involvement, guys. Remember, George Bush Sr. said he voted for Hillary. And what did Hillary's symbol look like? The H? It looked like the two trade towers. It's the symbol for Freemasonry. Sorry, my fingernails are dirty. I did some slate roofing, if you noticed that. I actually worked all day. I don't know if a bunch of people showed up here or not earlier, but all I know is there's nobody here now. Not people that got off of work. There might be people walking through here, but there's no crowds or anything like that, which is sad. On top of everything, not only is there no justice, but there's no crowd. There's no involvement in the actual subject itself. That it's been forgotten. That 9/11 has been forgotten. The 9/11 truth movement has been demonized and turned into this thing that it's not. It's been turned into basically a conspiracy theory, which it's been debunked. You know, they had all these phony baloney hit pieces on Alex Jones, like throughout the years about 9/11. I mean, you could go through all of them. He's Bill Hicks. He's a Saudi agent. They said he was a Jewish Mossad agent. Yeah, like he's some big wig behind the scenes doing all this stuff. All he did was produce Loose Change, which was the first documentary to bring these truths out to light, which actually woke me up out of my trance. I thought global warming was man-made, and you look into stuff that NASA puts out there about all the planets heating up simultaneously, which is a whole other story. I mean, everything's a lie when you really look into it, especially 9/11. I mean, there's so many things. The iron nanospheres, Marvin Bush. What else is there? You got the fact that the coroner said there wasn't a drop of blood in Shanksville. I told you that one. There's so many things, like the fact that a steel building, has never burned down before. It's the first time it ever happened in history, actually. There was all kinds of other fires, like in Venezuela, where a giant skyscraper, way bigger than this one even, like went down into its own, or no, it didn't. I'm sorry, it burned forever. It didn't fall down into its own footprint like the media wants to think is the natural thing that happens when a building catches on fire, which is totally repugnant. It's totally against every fire code and everything else. These buildings are designed to withstand planes hitting them. The World Trade Tower complex was designed to withstand planes impacting them. So, I mean, there's no way. It was like, basically, the experts say, it's like a pencil trying to go through a screen door, and that it wouldn't have actually compromised the actual infrastructure. There's no way. There was the pictures where you see 45-degree cuts in the actual steel itself, in the beams, on the so they never found the black boxes. You got Trade Tower 7 not hit by a plane, going down into its own footprint, and the BBC reporting that it fell before it fell, which shows that the media is connected in with this whole lie, that they knew about what was going to happen before it happened, because it was all planned to happen. They're not psychic. They're not. They knew what was going to happen, okay? So this is kind of symbolic. This is my first Real.video Rocco Bianco show. I wish I could do a longer one, but my video is going to run out here soon. I only have 11 minutes. So I'll leave you with this. The whole point of this is to just question what happened. Why can't, like that lady, she was like, that's offensive. It's offensive to ask questions, actually. This is a question, sure. It's like 9/11 was an inside job. Okay. Can you prove it? Yeah, I can. There's so many, I just told you like 50 different points. There's a million of them. The firefighter evidence itself, their testimony, is proof in the pudding right there. They saw the molten steel. We see the molten steel on camera. You can't have molten steel, especially from the NASA data that showed the World Trade Tower wells that were meant to block out the ocean water. Those were filled with molten iron for over a month and a half. Jet fuel cannot do that, guys. So, to honor the people that have fallen, we need to investigate 9/11, we need to ask questions, and we need to stop the censorship. And that's why I joined Real.video, because I won't be afraid of this video getting deleted. All right, thank you.